Hi guys, I'm here with Tim. He just got eighth place. He's the third juror in a vote with a wasted idol, which is a whole mess. So hi Tim.
Hello, Elise. How's it going?
Yeah, I'm very sick, so I apologize in advance for voice issues.
No, it's
So
okay.
my first question for you is actually from a spectator,
Oh,
from
great.
Grayson from season two, and he asks, "How does it feel to be far and above the best player this season?"
He really said that. Wow, that
From
feels
this
amazing.
a spectator perspective, but yes, he
Yeah.
asked that.
Wow, that feels great. Yeah, I mean, I'm not really sure how true that is, to be honest, because I got eighth. You know what I mean? I always feel like sometimes the best player does win, but I mean, it's also possible to be robbed. I mean, that feels great. I am disappointed to go out, kind of earlier than I would have hoped for, but man, I went pre-jury twice, and this is my third org. Both times I went pre-jury, so I'm just happy to be a juror. I'm just happy to have made the merge and one individual immunity. So I can't complain. But that feels amazing. So thank you, Grayson. I believe it was right, Grayson from season
Yeah,
two.
it's Grayson.
Oh, that feels great.
Okay, so before we get to the actual serious questions,
Yeah.
because I know he'll kill me if I don't ask this, Tom from
Okay.
season one, I think I've mentioned him to you, the bad meme
Yes.
guy, just to dig at him. His question is, do you eat your cereal with or without the skin?
Without the skin.
I don't know what that means.
Hmm. Yeah, that makes sense for Tom. Um. So I haven't eaten cereal in quite some time. Not since I was a kid. I'm not crazy about cereal. This might be weird to some people, but I don't like eating cereal with milk or with any fluid in it, any liquid, because I'm a really slow eater, so it gets soggy and it's not for me. So I always like my dry cereal, which I can interpret as uh, with the skin. So thank you, Tom.
Okay, with the skin.
Of
Okay,
course.
so did you expect to be voted out this round? Like, did you expect the idol play or the way the votes went? And who do you think like voted with you or against you?
That's a complicated question. So, I did expect to go home actually. Right before tribal, Nick asked me, "Who do you think's going home?" I said me. I just had a feeling something wouldn't go completely right. Um, but it almost did. Me and Milo and I, and as well as Wes, we all voted together and we voted for Courtney. The plan was to have the rest of the tribe assume that we were splitting the votes on me and Brandon, and then have Milo, um, Wes, and Chris flip their votes. Now we told not Wes, we told Chris the last second because he tends to spill too much information. So we waited last minute to tell him, and he actually seemed on board, but something went wrong. And I think what happened is that Chris spilled the beans to Brandon, told him play his idol on Courtney, which I did not expect. Like, why not just have Courtney play her idol on herself? I don't know. But once Brandon played the idol on her, I knew it was over. So
Yeah, because you did. The start of the tribal council period. if I remember this rightly, you said I feel like I'm going home this round.
yes, I did.
What like contributed to that intuition, like very early in the round, before all of the vote discussions?
I'm not quite sure to be honest. I knew once Derek had one immunity that would complicate things to a factor, and um, to be honest, a lot of people assumed I was with Courtney and Brandon pretty hardly. Like I was really with them, and I was to an extent, but obviously a lot of people didn't realize that I was actually distancing myself from them quite a bit, and so that's the initial target on me, and then. I think as more and more plans came about and more things were leaked, I think people just wanted to get me out.
So I can't tell you what this was. So if you don't know, just ignore this question. But there
Hmm.
was a moment in sorry, the sickness. There was a moment in the night moves immunity that you could have survived, but somebody cut off your only remaining movement. Like what happened there?
Yeah, I believe
If
it was Courtney who went right before me, and she cut me off at a certain move. Although played that pretty badly, I believe, in the challenge, which is kind of frustrating because I'm pretty sure I'm the only one out of that group that knows how to play chess. Obviously, I'm not a very good player, but I know the rules. But everyone else was like messing up and wasn't sure. So I don't know if they knew how to play chess, but I messed up. So I was probably not going to win it. But I believe what you're referencing, and obviously I don't know if you can confirm this or not, was that Courtney cut me off at a certain point, but I don't remember if she had a better move to go to or not. So it's not a big deal to me about that.
Okay. Okay, so then obviously the last two jurors are both original Mwenzi, and
Yep.
it's kind of seen from outside perspective that there could potentially be a Pagonging of Mwenzi. Obviously, you were from original Shira,
Right.
both Shira tribes. So what happened there?
Well, I think at one point Brandon was interested at getting rid of a Shira at final eight, and so we did not want to get Milo out at the final eight because we wanted to use him as a safe vote for Shira to agree on. But obviously that didn't work because Shira fractured quite hard, and before even a Milo discussion was even considered. So you know, I think there was a very little chance Milo was ever going to go out. It might seem that way from outside perspective, like from a jury or from a spectator, but Shira, we had some problems, and obviously Brandon and Courtney are huge threats, and they both have idols, which complicates things. So we fractured, and unfortunately, I was a casualty of the experience.
Okay. Oh, hi, Grace. Okay, so what is your proudest moment in this game?
That's tough. The split vote on this tribal council, if it had worked, it would have been an amazing move, a legendary move, I think. Um, I'm quite jealous that I didn't come up with it fully on my own. It was a collaborative effort, but Milo, in particular, put in quite a bit of work to get that plan in action, as did Wes. But the us three making that move with ideally Chris would have been very quite a proud moment for me. Unfortunately, it didn't work out, but I'm glad to have at least attempted it. But my proudest moment was probably winning the individual immunity. It is certainly less luck based, but it's also socially based. So I feel like going into merge, I was in a pretty good position, but it just didn't work out. So
Okay, so then coming off of that, what would be your biggest regret from the game?
yeah, I'm not quite sure. I gone pre-jury twice. I mentioned that, and so I wanted to play a little bit less hard this time. I got taken out early for playing hard, and so this time I tried to play a lower level game, and I certainly did that. I think pre-merge, I was quite relaxed. I was working with Brandon and Courtney for pretty much the entire pre-merge, and then going into merge, I wanted to wrap my game up, and I think had this move worked, I certainly would have done so. But you know, out of the regrets, I think some of the things I could have done differently, I probably should have talked to Bob and Chris more, maybe Derek as well. Although I tried with Derek and didn't get too much luck. But I should have put in a little bit more effort with Bob and Chris, and then maybe things could have been a little bit differently. But
Okay, so and then kind of related to that is a question from Grace, season 5, who is listening right now.
yes,
Is there anything, this doesn't have to be a regret, just more of looking back at it, is there
yeah.
anything you do differently in hindsight?
No, yeah, I mean, obviously, I didn't know the question was coming, but yeah, it's the same idea. Just talk to Bob and Chris more, but I'm not really sure if there was too much I could have done. Winning immunity would have helped out. Um, but I knew I couldn't stay with Brendan and Courtney, and I knew I would regret it 100% if I stayed with them the whole time. Because one, that's not too fun, and two, they would absolutely beat me in final tribal council. They would destroy me. I would be the goat out of the three of us, and so there was no way I was willing to go to the end with them. Plus they both lied to me about their idols, saying they got it later than they actually did because I found the idol. It was missing, and then they tell me like a day later that they got the idol. But no, I mean, there's not too much regret. Looking back after this game is over and all confessionals are released, I'm sure I'll find something, but not no huge regrets at the moment.
Okay, that's cool. So you mentioned earlier, like this was your first time making the merge, so congratulations, you
Thank
finally
you.
made it.
Yes.
But how is the merge like as your first time experiencing it? How is it different from the pre-merge?
Hmm. Well, I found that the votes are quite chaotic. Especially this pre-merge. All the votes were quite easy to be honest, and we kind of just floated right through without too much of a problem. Of course, I did get very lucky in that I had a very good swap, and I didn't have to be in a minority like Vikram, Bob, and Chris. But yeah, once we got to the merge, things really escalated, and it was especially this tribal. It was quite a complex vote going on, and there was lots of plans, and the gameplay really ramped up at merge, and quite a bit more than I expected, to be honest.
Okay, so if you could summarize your gameplay in like a word or a short sentence, like what would that be?
Hmm. Let me think about it. In a word, I'll say sneakily, sneaking around, uh, something like that.
Okay, is there anything else you would like to kind of mention and talk about your game or anything?
Yeah, I'll run through the cast real quick. Let me pull
Oh,
it up.
wait,
So I
before
don't.
you do that, our last question is
Oh,
kind of word association for each cast member. But if you want to go into more
oh,
detail before we do that, then feel free.
yeah. I'm trying to think of things to talk about in this about my game. I mean, my confessional said a lot, and there was quite a bit of them. It was just the same thing. I was hiding behind Courtney and Brandon most of the game, and unfortunately, they turned on me, which I'm not completely sure why they did. From what I understand, is that Derek proposed a vote onto me, and after that, I think Courtney and Brandon just decided they want to do whatever they can to stay in the game without having to play their idols, which is understandable. They're both big threats, and if they make it to the end, I think they will win, and I think they deserve to win. I would vote for them, even though they've betrayed me. But yeah, unfortunately, I think they betrayed me first, technically, um, at least exteriorly from the outside. But obviously, I was working against them quite a bit, so I don't blame them. Maybe a plan got leaked and beforehand before this vote, and I was toast.
Okay, so who are you rooting for? But if they're not the same person, who do you think will win?
Okay, who am I rooting for? Out of hmm, one person, I'd say Wes. That's who I'm rooting for. Who do I think will win? I don't know. I think Wes has a shot, although I think he will be a target for a little bit. Um, if Brandon and Courtney get to the end, I would probably vote for them because I think they've played a very strong game. They've been in control essentially the whole game. I would be happy if they won, even though we were a bit at odds at the end, but I don't blame them. Um, who do I think will win? Uh, I still feel like Wes is gonna win. I feel like he'll pull it out. Maybe Milo, but those two would be great winners in my opinion. Unfortunately, Chris, Bob, and Derek would have to do quite a bit for me to give them my vote. So we'll see what they do.
Okay, thank you so much. So the last question, like I mentioned, is word
Okay.
association. So I'm just gonna go
Okay.
through each person left in the game and just give me like a word or a short phrase, the first thing that comes to mind when I say
Okay.
their name. So Bob,
Bob. Let me think. I'm trying to think. I'm trying to get a perfect phrase. Bob. Uh, not
I
a
just say the
not a
first thing. Sorry,
yeah, no, not a huge game player, but nice.
Brandon,
Huge game player, but nice.
Chris,
Betrayed me. A bit inactive. Struggled to talk to him a bit.
Courtney,
Very strong player. Um, yes, very strong player.
Derek,
Uh, uh, Mixed bag. Sometimes great, sometimes not so great.
Milo,
Um, Underrated.
and Wes. Um,
Fighter. He's a fighter.
okay, thank you so much for joining us, and thank you so much for playing.
Yes,
Um,
thank you.
and we'll see you again for the Final Trouble Council and the reunion.
Sounds good.
Oh, just out of curiosity, do you know if it's a final 2 or 3 yet?
I don't. Was that information given at some point?
No, but I will say now that you are jury, and it's not the biggest worry if you know
Yeah.
this, due to the numbers of players left,
Mm-hmm.
one of those formats would not make sense. So you
Ah,
wouldn't be able
yes.
to have it. So
I was doing the math at one point, but I eventually gave up. I believe, I believe it can't be a final two because we definitely don't have a jury of nine, right? Because Thomas quit,
yeah, an 8 wouldn't
so
work because it could
it
tie.
would, right.
That would be
So
tragic.
that would be
So
tragic.
I'll see you again for the Final Trouble Council reunion. Thank you so much for joining us.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
Bye, Tim.